Hi, this is Dino Raquel. I'm here to answer the top 10 questions that are asked about workstation sinks online. And number one is, are workstation sinks actually worth the extra cost? That's an interesting question. I would say for most people, yes, but for some, no. If meals are very simple and not often made at home, then probably not. However, if you do uh, make most of your meals at home, it is definitely worth the value. Workstation sinks are going to save a tremendous amount of time depending on the design and the brand. Some are far better at saving time and effort than others. Um, our customers tell us that they're saving 30 to 50% of the time that they used to spend doing the same type of food prep and cleanup in their original sinks. Second question, do the ledges and tracks get gunked up and hard to clean? No, I don't think that's the case with any workstation sink on the market. Number three, what is the best material? Stainless steel, fire clay, cast iron, or composite? I'm going to say a hard no on fire clay, composite, and cast iron, and I'll tell you why. They have a lifespan anywhere from an hour to 20 years, and I'll explain that because I've had experience in seeing both. I had a gentleman purchase a cast iron sink many, many years ago when I was a kitchen designer on a Friday, came back in on Monday and said, I need another one. I said, what happened? He said, well, I installed it myself and it took all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and I dropped an aspirin bottle in it and chipped it. Um, if you just do some research on hows, you're going to see that many people have had problems with cracking, chipping, breaking, even composite sinks with holes in them and stains. They're just not going to last. The only things that are going to last are metallic sinks, stainless, bronze, brass, copper. They're lifetime materials if the material is high quality and if they're made properly. Next question, what do I need a double or single bowl workstation sink? That depends. Most people find that a single bowl workstation sink with a rear corner drain works better, but I have built a couple of double bowl sinks based on the specific uses that my clients have had. So it could be either, but most again go with a single bowl. And then the next question, will the sink fit in my existing cabinet? And that's an interesting question for sure. Um, Sinks are measured from flange to flange on the outside. So when you see a 30-inch sink, the actual bowl is 2 inches smaller because the flanges are 1 inch. So the vast majority of manufacturers will tell you a 30-inch sink must go in a 33-inch cabinet. Not the case with our sink. Our 30-inch sinks are designed specifically to fit 30-inch cabinets because the interior of a 30-inch cabinet is 28 and a half inches and our bowl is 28 and an eighth on the outside. And if you want more details on how that works, give us a call or look on our website. Next question, does the depth of a workstation sink cause back pain? Oh, heck yes, it certainly can. If you've got a 9 or 10 inch deep single bowl sink, I can assure you for the vast majority of people, it's going to cause a backache. And how do I know that? Well, I was a kitchen designer for 22 years and studied ergonomics. I've been a sink designer for 27 years and continue to study ergonomics. And I've heard back from customers that insisted on getting 9 or 10 inch deep sinks from me saying, oh my gosh, I wish I had listened to you. My new sink that I'm going to get from you is going to be 8 inches deep. It was killing my back. Then the next question, can I use third-party accessories, or am I locked into one brand? I think if you do research, you can find that a lot of sink manufacturers make the same size sinks and accessories, and they can be interchangeable. That said, if you're buying a sink and you want our accessories, we do not sell them. However, if you already have a sink that's been installed and it's not a workstation sink, we make retrofit accessories that will turn your single bowl undermount sink into a workstation sink. Question number 8. Are these sinks too noisy? Well, they can be. Depends. Of course, I'm going to talk about the metal sinks. If a stainless steel sink is a thin gauge and it's not insulated properly, it is going to be very noisy. That said, we use a heavy gauge stainless, domestic surgical grade stainless, which happens to be a bit harder, more scratch resistant. And we use a very, very aggressive sound deadening system on our sinks, and they will be extremely quiet. And then question number 9, do I need a special faucet for a large workstation sink? Yes, you do. As a matter of fact, for almost all sinks, you need a special faucet, and let me explain that. If you find yourself having to bend at the waist or reach with your arms to get under the flowing water, your faucet is not properly designed. For ergonomic comfort, you should be able to stand up straight, put your arms out at a comfortable reach, and be under the flowing water. 95% of the faucets on the market do not allow that. Waterstone does, and that's why we carry Waterstone faucets. The last question is probably the most important. Does a workstation sink increase home resale value? It certainly does, especially if it's a metal one, and especially if the quality is there. Our sinks are designed to be generational, meaning we have a lifetime transferable warranty. If you're ever selling your home, you can call me up and I will provide you with paperwork indicating that that sink will remain having a lifetime warranty, not only on the sink, but on all of the metal accessories. I've had many, many customers tell me, as repeat customers, that the sink that we put in their original home was a major factor in selling the home. If you think about this, if you're someone like I am, who loves to cook and has had a workstation sink and is not the owner of this company, if I were to go into a home that did not have a workstation sink and I was thinking about buying it, I would pass very quickly, knowing that replacing that sink without knowing about this company means all new countertops or cutting, a mess, an absolute mess. So why put yourself or a future person in that position? That's probably the worst thing you could possibly do, is to put in a sink that comes free with the countertops. Let me tell you a story about that. I get emails all the time from Chinese companies indicating that they can supply me with sinks delivered for $39. Double bowl sink or single bowl stainless, $39. That's what you are getting when you get a free sink with your countertop. You're not doing justice to yourself or anyone else by buying one of those or taking a free sink. Take your time, do your research, and ask. For example, ask ChatGPT, is there any sink made anywhere that's better quality and better design than a Resale sink? I think you'll find the answer is no, there are none. That's why 100% of all our reviews on house.com and Google and anywhere else since the beginning, all 5-star. And they're not just little notes. They are long stories that go along with our reviews. If you go on our website and go to the Learn tab, scroll down to reviews, you'll be able to see all of our reviews there. The top section, we actually put those there, but they're excerpts from online. You go further down the page, those are brought in automatically from Google. We have no control over that. Unlike other companies that pick and choose their best reviews and put them on their website and give the appearance that they're all 5-star. That's usually not the case. Anyway, thank you for your time. By the way, we haven't had an advertising budget since 2008. If you would kindly like and share this, it would be helpful to get this information out to more people. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you folks.